Welcome to another episode of The Dirty Negative. Welcome back, everyone.
Bonsoir. Did you like that?
Monge too.
Okay.
Yes. Right. We have got Ingrid Weyland on today. Yay! Who Lewis has been trying to get on this podcast forever and a day and has finally got her on. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this because it's more arty than art. Yeah, you need to see her stuff to understand that and listen to the podcasts and you'll find out. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, what have you been up to, mate? Anything?
Not well. Just I'm actually still. I'm just getting some stuff through the post. Actually, I'm going back to Poland in about 3 weeks, so I've got some other stuff to take with me. So I've just been planning that. I'm just waiting for some negs to be processed. I've been waiting about 6 weeks now. But James has been real busy. James at Zone Imaging because he was at the photography show a couple of weeks ago, and he's had a lot on his plate. But he said he'll be doing them for me. So it's a bit. Nice. That's the only awkward thing. Sometimes when you got you want to try and get on top of stuff, but you can't because you've not got your work back, and that's just sometimes. Other than that, just flying some birds, getting beaten up by birds, and doing my conservation bit. Really, anything what you've been.
Yeah, bits of this, that, and the other. I started on my one project, started getting that going.
Good.
I say getting going. I haven't done anything for it apart from getting the people to be part of the project.
Think about it.
Yeah, I thought about it. No, I planned it all out. I thought about it and planned it all out. Started to get the people in that are going to be involved in the project into that. And I've decided I'm going to hold off as long as I can before I'm starting it. I don't know if I should or not, just because I sort of want to do it with some new kit and do it all the way through and build a theme around the project as a separate entity with the new kit, just so I can talk about it from that point of view. I don't know if that's just me being stupid or not, but I thought, what the hell? Or whether it's just an excuse to get new kit. That's also that's probably
Yeah, let's be realistic now, Terry.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Do you know what I was thinking the other day? Season 2 has flown by.
Mate, it's just. I think we were more organised this time. So we got more people done on the same sort of week than we did last time.
It's also been a far not nicer, but sort of steadier journey, hasn't it? I feel like we've found our feet now and we're there,
Yeah, we've relaxed into it a little bit more, I've got to be honest. And I think that's quite nice. And when we're really not too worried, we've got a little pattern together of how we do it, and it just... The questions flow, which is nice.
And the guests are astonishing, really.
I'm amazed at any of the guests we've had on put up with us. It's just,
I mean, surely these people had researched who we are before they even cut. You know what I mean? But obviously they don't.
No, I just, Wait till we put the outtakes out. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
I'll never get anyone on again.
Anyway, shall we crack on, Terry?
Yes, let's go, mate. Let's.
Okay, so let's introduce the one and only Ingrid Weyland. Thank you very much, Ingrid Weyland, for coming on. I have wanted to talk to you on this podcast for I don't know how long, a couple of years nearly, and I've managed to wangle you in. I really appreciate it, because is this your first podcast you've been on?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as Terry said earlier, basically after today it's the end of your career, because obviously not really, but I really appreciate that, because obviously it can be a little bit daunting, but once you've done it, you'll be like, well, that was much easier than I thought, and we'll take it nice and steady. But for those of you who aren't aware of Ingrid Weyland is based in Buenos Aires, in Argentina, and Ingrid, we'll get into the questions on where Ingrid's from, what she's done, and so on. But I saw Ingrid's work actually on Lens Culture Awards. And
oh, that's where we met?
Well, that's where I first saw your work on the actual awards, and I was absolutely blown away by it, to be honest with you. And literally, I contacted you within about a day, I think, because it was so clever. Don't get a big head here. It was very clever. Do you know what I mean? And also, it was very easy on the eye. But it's very clever. We'll get into that anyway. But we have spoken on many occasions, me and yourself, and I feel like, as you say, we are friends. We've developed a nice relationship since meeting. Not that we've ever met in person, but since meeting. I was taken back by your work and contacted you. The idea and the concept are very unusual and visually stunning. You said to me, you know, many people ask you about how you've produced this work, and where did your artwork, where did you start getting interested in art to start with? Was it from a young age, or, you know, was it something that come later in life?
No, since I lived with my grandparents when I was little, and my grandfather was an architect, and my grandmother she did sculptures, and she painted. They both painted. So I was constantly surrounded by pencils and papers and maps and clay. So every time they wanted to gift me something, we went to a bookstore and we bought pencils or markers or something related to that. So I've always been involved in doing things with my hands.
So, like painting, did you do any sculpture yourself?
No.
And then it led into the photography side. What
later? Yeah, I studied graphic design.
Okay.
And then when I had my kids, I stopped working for a while. And then when I wanted to start doing something again, I thought about photography, which I had always been interested in. And so I started learning and being involved, and then, well, all led to where I'm.
Oh, go on, Terry, go on.
I was just going to say, at that point when you started photography, because I don't know how long ago that was it film photography, and was it the whole process of darkroom that you got into? No. So
I
it's
just
digital.
I just learned film photography at first. Okay. But then I immediately switched to digital. I know you're a digital fan, and you're a...
Yeah. He's totally analog, old school. Yeah. I love the way we're pitching old straight away. Yeah, digital, analog, yeah.
So are you self-taught then, Ingrid? Did you teach yourself, or did you go on any courses, or...?
No, I did many courses. Yes, okay. I attended lots of courses.
So, for me anyway, and obviously for those of you who haven't seen what you've produced in the last, say, 5 years, could you explain to everyone what topographies of fragility is all about, and how it came along?
Well, I started traveling a lot for photography with teachers of the courses I attended, and then after a few years I had so many images in my computer, and I started printing some and started to accumulate lots of prints, and I had to tidy up at some point because I don't have much space here, and this is where I work. And so, to make it short, right? After a while, one day I took one of the prints and just wanted to throw it away. So I did this, okay, throw it in the bin. But it took me a lot of time to make that decision because I was really emotionally involved with my landscapes. And so when I did that, it really hurt. Oh no, I won't throw you away. And I took it back out And then I started to try to make it flat again, like this, but I realized that that's impossible, that the creases remain. And so that's the way it started. And then I practiced with many of my landscapes, with my prints. And then I started trying different things, like taking 2 prints and taking one of the unspoiled landscape, and then putting the destroyed one on top, and then rephotographing, and then it just all evolved from there.
But what's in the mess? Sorry, Terry. In the message of the title, Topographies of Fragility. What are you trying to? What is the message you're sending via the work?
Message is that once you, the same as paper, once you crumple it, it's not. The creases will remain. You cannot make it flat again. So, the same way, nature, when we humans invade it and disrespect it, the marks remain. So it's just to try to make us more aware of the way we should take care of nature, because it's not something disposable. That's the general idea.
There's 2 elements that I pick out of that. One is, this is a question really, in terms of how you created that, do you think the influence from your parents, where they did sculpting and other mediums and stuff, enable you to look outside of the picture to see, oh, this is another piece of artwork here? What made you suddenly think this could be an artwork by putting the picture on top of a picture?
That's a good question. I think that I have a very good friend who's a photographer and teacher, and she's been my teacher for a long time. And the fact that when I started trying these things, and the fact that she supported me, and when she saw what I was making, she said, "I think this is a good idea." That's the moment that I thought that this could become something else.
Because it is an amazing idea. When I see your work, it's like, how the hell did you think of that? Because it just works so well. And it's just, I mean, I've seen a lot of mixed media, and I've got friends that do mixed media stuff and everything else. This has took that to that next level with the picture in the picture, and it just works beautifully. And
Thank you.
It is artwork in its own right. Forget the picture, and nice pictures that you've got onto there, and the photos are lovely, but it is artwork on top of artwork, and it just, the depth of that really shines through. And I think to have the foresight, not the foresight, but the way for all to recognise that as you're doing it in the first place, just from that first crumpled up bit and seeing what you could do, it's just, that's deep. That's been ingrained somewhere, I think, along the lines, being able to look.
I think that it all came together. Like, I always think about the energy of whatever, and I think that everything came together. The trips, the images, the fact that I had to throw away some prints, and then the support that my teacher gave me, and then the fact I'm very much into making things with my hands. So the fact I really felt the moment when I was doing this, it was really something like aggressive. And so at the same time, when I went to Iceland, that I fell in love with Iceland. I went like 5 times. And when I traveled for the 3rd time and saw that there were many changes, and you know, people that don't respect the boundaries that they set to take care of the land. And when I saw that, and I came back home, and I felt like I was destroying, like that act of doing that with my hands. Like, I thought it's the same that we do, not with our hands, but with our actions on the landscape. So it all came together. It was kind of magic. I don't know.
No, it's really interesting because it is magic, and it's one of the first times and only times I've ever looked at photography, but seen it as a completely different art form. In the way that it was, I'll never forget the first one I saw, and I was like, what the hell is this? This is so unusual. And I was like, the first thing I thought was, what's this person done in Photoshop to do this? And then I but I had to really think hard at what I was looking at. And then I realised, and I was like, that is ingenious. That is so clever. That is. I was just blown away by it, to be honest. And I thought to myself, Lewis, why didn't you think of that, really? Because it's so simple, isn't it? But it's not, is it? It's so clever. Anyway.
Yeah, many people think that, or ask me if it's digitally made. But I could not do it digitally.
No.
I love to do it with my hands.
One of the things I've noticed is there's a couple of sort of slight different styles in some of the paper and the way they're done. So some are like scrumpled up, and others have very angles, like where you've almost folded to get the pattern that you want out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have to try to make it work with the print.
That's what I wanted to ask. What inspires that? Is it just the lines and everything that's in the print that you go, right, this needs this sort of pattern, and you work on it that way?
The lines and the colors and the balance, the composition itself, it's with what's behind it and what's on top. I sometimes try to do it very like without thinking. Like how would I crumple this paper? Will I just do like this and throw it away, or be more aggressive, or like try to do it differently, just to see what happens? You know, it's a bit of luck too, and just trying.
Do you try different types of papers for different? You do.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, because the different papers are react differently. Some are some break, some show the white of the paper.
Yeah.
I also wet some of them, the rice paper, and it becomes like a cloth.
Right.
Like really smooth. You can work it differently, and the creases are different. If it dries, it's really it becomes hard. I also tried to make it put some paint on it, or I don't know,
like a varnish or something.
Yeah, like a varnish.
Yeah.
So I like to try different things just to make differences between them, so that they don't all look the same. And
nice, I appreciate that, because when I was looking through, I could see the differences, and it was like it was a purpose decision, and that's why I wanted to know how you did those bits. But knowing that you do different textures and finishes and stuff adds to it as well. Whatever you were just messing and screwing up there and rubbish, the sound of that was amazing. So it's like if you were going to do an ASMR sort of thing, I could just listen to that forever.
And it's really like you can get into a trance like doing this, and it's really relaxing in a way.
Yeah, therapy. I like that. I'm going to try it later.
Yeah. So have you recently? I'm still fascinated by this, and I've been talking to you for 2 years, and like that question come into my head about the different papers. I've just thought about that now. But do you ever go to landscapes now, in particular, with a particular idea, or is it just what happens at the time happens, and we see what we bring back?
Yeah, it's what happens at the moment. I don't like to pre-think much. I really need to, when I travel somewhere, I really need to connect with the place, and I love silence. I hate that if someone talks to me when I'm trying to connect and shoot and think about what I'm looking at. It takes me at least 2 days to really connect with the place. And I don't know. I shoot wherever I feel can work, and then when I'm back home, I wait for a while. I don't access the folder immediately. I wait for a few days to like get away from
Yeah.
it. Then I reconnect through the images on my computer.
I do that with landscapes when I go and take some landscapes, is that I probably won't look at them for 2 or so weeks, so
Yeah,
that I
exactly.
lose that emotion that I had at the time of the enjoyment and everything else,
Yeah,
because I want to look at it subjectively and go, yeah, that's a great image, or nah, that's not very good, sort of
exactly.
thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny how it always happens to me that the ones that I like from the beginning are the ones that I like a month later, or
Yeah. That's it. I mean,
So
sometimes, you just look at the back of the camera or something, because obviously I'm digital, Lewis.
yes,
You look at
Sorry
the
for
back
that.
of the camera and you just go, that's the shot. You
Yeah,
just
exactly.
know. And you
Yeah.
get that feeling, and it's just like, oh my God, I've got it. And it's, yeah, that's tends to stay. Even if you don't look at it in a couple of weeks, you still get that when you look at it next.
Yeah,
It was just right,
I
yeah.
agree. Same happens for me.
I'm fascinated by how you you do manage to get yourself in some really interesting places. So this wasn't one of the questions, but you've recently did that artist in residence, didn't you? Was it last year or?
The 2023 in the
Uh,
Amazon.
yeah. So can you tell us how that experience was, and what you where it was, because it's an amazing location, that isn't it?
It's in the Amazon in near Manaus, the north of Brazil, and it's in an of the place is where research is done. Scientists go there, so it's quite a basic place to stay. So at first, when we were like, I don't remember if 15 artists or something like that. Half were Brazilian and half were from different places, and we stayed for 15 days. When we arrived, it was a bit of a shock because it was really, really basic, the places where we stayed. But then you get used to it, and and you really can feel the place. And we had talks. We learned a lot. It was amazing. We had visits from teachers from the local university, and scientists and activists, and we connected with each other, the artists. We were not only photographers, but different types of art. And we had walks. There were lots of sounds from the jungle of animals, insects. The food was great. I mean, it was an amazing experience. Different, very different.
And how did that come about? Was that through just
Open.
how did you end up in that position to go on that artist in residence? Was it
I
something that you had to apply for, or?
Yeah, you had to apply, and I got in.
Lovely. We should do stuff like that here. We probably do stuff like that here, Terry. I just never see it, to be honest with you. Terry, you've gone quiet, mate. Have you turned yourself off, Terry?
I have. It was probably better, to be fair. The ratings just went up at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm laughing.
Yeah. So one of my questions from that is, you create this artwork. How do you put it out to the world? What's your thoughts when you put it out? Are you putting it out on socials? Are you doing exhibitions? Are you creating new books and stuff on it? What's the psyche for getting it out there to the world?
When on 2020, when we were at the pandemia, I don't know why I decided that I should apply to open calls, and so I made the decision to apply for that year to apply to 2 open calls a month, which I did.
Nice. Yeah.
Good.
And I don't know, some of them came back positively, and I was selected for some, and so that made me have more energy to continue and to apply for more. And then I started building some relationships within the art world and with curators, and I won a prize, and part of the prize, the Rhonda Wilson Award from Clumpton Gallery in New York. And they, one of the part of the prize was to be able to attend Fotolucida, which is a portfolio review. And so I went there, and I got to know many artists, and then one thing leads to another, and then the lens culture thing, and through lens culture I was contacted by different, so I don't know.
There's good networking as well, isn't it?
Sorry?
The networking is an important aspect of it.
It's very important. Yeah, what they say about trying to get your work to be seen by as many people as possible, I think it's true.
The networking is, but also you have to have something that's going to really catch people's eyes and stuff like that.
I guess.
So you've had your work over the last few years. Your resume is pretty amazing. You've had your work in many different places. It's all right to be happy about that, because I would love to have all my work in these different. Is there anywhere that your work hasn't been that you would like it to be in? It's not that. Me and Terry can make a phone call and see if we can get it sorted for you, can't we? But I'm serious.
We've got that much influence, Lewis.
Oh, yeah. Is there anywhere that you'd like to try and push your work? Any countries in particular, or is it just however it goes, really?
No, not really. I'm really happy with what I'm doing right now. I have an emotional connection to the UK, to London, because that's where we met, my husband and I. And so I feel like I had very positive reactions from the UK too. And I got to exhibit there a few times, and then in the United States. So I don't know. I'm okay
how do you find your career in? It's really interesting, because you look at the United States and then you talk about London. What about Buenos Aires? How is it there? How have you found it there? Have you been able to push your career a bit more in South America since then, or not?
I feel like we don't have as many opportunities here in South America as you do have abroad, especially in the States. So there's not that many open calls or opportunities for us to apply and to be able to show. There's not many galleries that would show photography. It has to evolve here, I think.
Okay.
So that's why I started applying abroad, because
I mean, it was interesting that you had the strategy of doing 2 a month to get out there, because nothing just happens. You have to work at it to get to your goal.
Yeah. I have friends that tell me, "Oh, I applied to 2 open calls and I didn't get in," and I said, "Well, that's
life.
Normal. You should apply more and more and more, and be patient."
Patience is massive, isn't it? But I mean, these things cost money as well, but you just have to keep at it, don't you? You have to keep pushing, and hopefully something will come of it.
Because you know how much you can spend a month, or how much.
I suppose you can budget.
Now it's enough. Now for the next month I can spend more. And
actually, I want to throw something in here that's nothing to do with any of this, other than I applied for an open call, and this was my fault, mind, and it was a free submission, and I was like, I'm going to do that. It's free anyway. I might as well do it. But I didn't read that if you actually got your work into the open call, then you had to pay. So always read the small print, folks, because if you're like, and that was my fault. Having said that, I'm really looking forward to being in this. Can I plug it, Tel? That's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, crack on, mate.
Yeah, no, there's the first photographic festival in Chester. They're having a photo festival, and that was what I pushed it into, and I got in, thankfully. But yeah, and Chester's quite a nice place. Well, it is a nice place.
I love Chester. I think we might have to go and pay a visit when that's on, mate. You'll have to let us know.
Yeah.
We'll go and have a look.
But yeah, fingers crossed. Hopefully, yeah. I think it will be busy anyway. But what I liked about this competition was it was actually encouraging more the story based and the creative side than it was just pretty pictures and stuff like that. And that's what I really enjoyed about it. Anyway, that's enough of plugging Chester.
So talking about that creative side, you've developed a style now that's there. Do you constantly try and develop new styles, or are you just constantly exploring the style that you've currently got?
I think that I could not get away from my style. I mean, if I tried, I have tried several times, but I don't think I can do it.
Okay.
It's just like fixed inside my head, the way I see things.
Yeah.
When you're at in front of the landscape that you're trying to feel something. I'm very emotional, and when I go to these places, when the light is perfect or when the rain comes and there's like something magic in the air, I really get to tears, and that's what I feel. That's what I try to for other people to feel too.
That's nice.
So,
I wish that happened to me, to be honest.
Sorry?
I wish that happened to me, to be honest, sometimes. But no, it shows your connection with the landscape, I suppose, doesn't it? You know, and that is really important, especially when you're a visual artist, because as you say, it definitely it's a fascinating concept what you've got.
Yeah, I think connecting like that though is a bit like you're taking the time to understand the environment and connect with it, which is, I don't get that so much, and for this reason, because the way I shoot and that side of it. But Lewis, you tend to with film, because you're very selective about where you're going to which scene you're going to shoot with a piece of film, because it's not like digital where I can go click 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 click. You've got to consciously go, this is the scene that I want that tells this story, it's got this for it, it's going to do this with it. And I think more people, artists, really need to slow down to do that. You've managed to do that yourself without it being film or anything else, because you take that time to connect to the nature, I think, and that shows through. So yeah, I think that's a good.
You're right there, Tel.
Something happened.
He's gone quiet. He's gone
I think
quiet.
it just went totally dead.
Yeah, well, I don't know what's going on down. Is it in West Midlands? Come on now, Peter. You better up the game, I think.
Well, it's about time we were in the sticks a little bit, isn't it, out here?
Right. So now the one question I want to ask is: are you going to produce a book in the future? And the reason I want to know this is because I would actually be more intrigued now in the writing and your stories or your thoughts that would go next to the pictures that you produce in your book. Has that ever crossed your mind?
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
Not yet. I feel that I need to. Sorry, I feel that like I need to keep working on this for a time, for a few years or months, and then I feel like it's not ready for a book yet. Well, that's fine. I mean, I do think though, but because of how you explain of how you connect to the landscape, and obviously, I'm amazed actually that you've not thought about it, to be honest with you. But if you was, do you think, because this was a sort of broken up question, are you interested in things like poetry and or would you write it? How if you was to write it? Say, for instance, one of your favourite pictures that you've put together, how do you think you would explain to people from a creative writing perspective what was going on in your head as you took it? We just explain what I feel.
Okay.
For me, it's all about feeling, not about technique or. It's just about what I feel when what I feel when I'm taking pictures of beautiful landscapes, and the wish I have for some of the places to be able to return to the way they were before we invaded. Just like try to make people to be silent and connect and appreciate and value and take care of, and just to try for people to feel what I feel. I don't know how I would explain it in words, but I don't think that through poetry, because it wouldn't be my words.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'd love to be able to do something like that, but I wouldn't know how to write what I felt because I don't do writing. My wife would say it's because I've got no emotion that I wouldn't be able to write it. But I think, it's it's because I wouldn't get the words out. Because it's a very difficult thing, isn't it? You can feel something, but trying to get that emotion across in words is an art form and a skill itself, really.
Yeah.
But, you're quite good at this, Lewis.
Well, no, I'm just...
You can talk...
Well, I can talk. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, you can talk, yeah. But when you write something, you manage to get your feelings down in the written word.
I suppose. But then one of the things that crossed my mind a minute ago was how different us three are as visual artists, and that before I go anywhere, I pre-visualise everything and get things in place. Whereas Ingrid, by the sound of it, you go there, you take what comes, and then when you get home, you're creative. And Terry, you just, I don't know,
I just rock up. That's it.
You just do whatever, and so we've all got different ways of looking at it, haven't we? And thinking about how we're going to do it. And
I think that's all down to past experiences and how you learn. Like, I rock up and I don't expect anything, and I see what I'm given at the time. And then I go, oh, yeah, that would be quite nice. I might have a vision that I want to do something specific, but I know that unless I go back to that place 20 times, I'm never going to get what I'm necessarily after because it's the wrong time.
Exactly. It's also about if you go to a place for the first time or if it's a place that you're near to and that you can visit several times. I know that if I'm going to Greenland, it's that time, and I don't know if I'll ever go back. So
yeah. I mean,
and the weather.
Well, it's a long way as well, isn't it? Because you're literally going the other side of the planet, aren't you?
Exactly.
I mean,
yeah.
So for instance, when you went to Antarctica, by the way, did you fly there or did you drive down and then get a boat across? Or
no, I flew to the south of Argentina and then I took a boat in Ushuaia, and then a big boat, and then you cross the Drake Channel.
Yeah. That must have been amazing.
Supposed to be one of the windiest places to sail, but we had great weather, so nothing happened. And then you cross the Drake Channel for 2 or 3 days, and then you arrive in Antarctica, and then you can explore around.
But you had to be very specific with what you was allowed to do there, wasn't you?
Yeah. There are very strict rules, and especially if you're in a boat with many people. Boats with more than 500 people cannot go on land.
Right.
So you can only watch from the boat. And we were in a boat of 150 people, so we were allowed to go on land, but we weren't. You have to clean your shoes when you go out of the boat, and when you come in, they inspect all your equipment so that it doesn't have any seeds.
Contamination. Yeah.
And you're not allowed to put your backpack on the ice or on the snow. Brilliant. For example. You just have to take everything, so it's not an easy place to.
Well, that just shows you how serious people are about looking after these places, because they are so rare in their environment and conditioning, I suppose. But I was fascinated with it. But then when you come up to the northern hemisphere, do you find it's different? in
very
Greenland.
different. Yeah, very different. Yeah, the rules are not as strict.
Yeah.
But we were on a small boat, so I think it's different. You still respect the land and the rules, but it's completely different. I would suggest to go in a small boat.
Fascinating.
Nice.
Well, Ingrid, thank you so much for coming on this podcast. I think I've let you off really lightly with the other stuff that we would normally talk about, but I'm not going to go into that today. And I was saying to Terry before we come on, I was like, I wonder if she's going to wear that jumper or not. But no one else needs to know about any of that conversation, you know. Other than thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it, and so does Terry.
It's been a real pleasure.
Yeah, your work is stunning, and we, you know, we'll do our bit with the podcast to push where people can go and find your work. Stuff like that, and you know, if you've got any stuff coming up in the future, or if you're coming over to the UK, let us know, and then hopefully we can all catch up. But any thoughts on your first podcast? Was it a lot easier than you thought?
Yeah, it was easy. Thank you. You were great.
Thank you very much. See,
he's just waited all season for someone to say that.
It only took me 2 years. 2 years. Here, listen, guys, you don't know how difficult this has been, right? I've been sending messages. Oh, please come on. Well, I get anxious. I was like, there's nothing to worry about, you know. Crikey. I said there'll only be 2 people watching it anyway. Yeah.
I found it really easy because you've just done all the asking. It's great. It's just.
Oh, shut up now.
You behaved. Thank you for that.
My pleasure. I'm a very good boy. I don't misbehave ever, you know. But anyway, how do we say goodbye in Spanish?
Ciao.
Ciao for now. So ciao, everyone. Thanks, Ingrid. Have a nice day, everybody. Ingrid, make sure you stay on.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. Did you like that?
There goes our one viewer.
Oh, right. All right.
Yeah. So if you go and check out Ingrid's work and just see how she does what we've just talked about in that, because it amazed me when I looked at that, and I was just like, yeah, I've always classed photography as an art, but now with Ingrid's stuff, it is an art. Art is art. It's pure art, and I love that about it and the way it's presented. And
she's a lovely young lady. She's very, very pleasant, and she's been very kind to me over the few years. Well, the fact that she talks to me, which is very nice, you know. But no, she's a lovely lady, and she deserves all the success she gets, because she's, you know, the creative side of it is amazing. But she's just a nice person as well. It's nice to see nice people doing well. Yeah, you know. Is.
She's just a beautiful soul, and it's really nice.
And by the way, she's in this year's Grand Prix. I hate saying this word, pricks. Why? How do you say it? Grand Prix, isn't it? The
Grand Prix.
Yeah, the Grand Prix. Why is it spelt with an X? I mean, for someone like me, I don't get it. Anyway. Well, what am I going about? Anyway, but no, that is a very highly thought of award, and you know, if she wins it, which I think she's got a good chance of, to be quite honest with you, it'd be wonderful for her.
So best of luck. We look forward to hearing the results onto that. And secondly, when you're in that open competition you were on about, what date is that coming out in Chester?
Well, it was. I think it's May. The Chester Photo Festival. It's really quite.
So you're going to send me those dates, because I will put it on here.
I think it's the 22nd. Hang on a minute. Bear with me 1 second.
You can pop down and have a look at that then, because it's only about an hour and a half away.
It's on from May the 9th.
Yeah.
May the 9th to the 22nd. Between them. Yeah.
When are you going down? Or when you're going down, give me a shout.
I've got to drop the work off at the end of this month. So
yeah, but are you going down when it's open, surely?
Probably not, no.
Really?
Yeah, well, I can't, because...
Why?
because I'm busy with work. I mean, like I've got, unfortunately, due to the nature of my job, I've got seasonal work, and then when I'm away in the winter, my seasonal work pays for my work when I'm abroad.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
It is really tough. I mean,
but you must have a day you can go down, surely.
I can't. I mean, Chester's probably 4 hours from me in the car, so
yeah.
you
okay.
know.
Yeah, fair point. All right, well, I'll have to go along and
you go along.
Go
on,
along, and I'll report it for you, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll put a link in anyway, so people know where it is, and then for next year, if they want to get involved themselves, you know.
I was going to say we could stop over the night there and have a few beers. Well, not beers. You're going to have Ribenas.
A curry.
Yeah,
I'll have a chat. Let me have a look at my diary, and we'll go from there.
Well, we can decide closer to the time, so it doesn't bother you in terms of booking stuff up. But actually, that'd be quite nice.
It would be nice. It would be nice.
Yeah, bit of escapism. That's the way I look at it all.
Yeah, if it gets me away from the wife and kids, I'm all for it. Do you know what I mean?
See, I wasn't mentioning stuff like that in case my wife listens and no, you've got that problem.
Anyway,
mate. Right. So that's it for now. That's it for this season.
Yeah.
That's
season 2 done.
Bloody hell, we made it.
Right.
So, can I just say, you've got season 3 to get on. So get on it. Yeah?
And for those of you, the parrot's just done a blinding noise, but I don't think you heard it.
No, luckily.
I hope you enjoyed listening to Ollie this year. We've had a few people like the photograph of Ollie. Yeah, it's good entertainment.
It's cute.
But anyway, let's crack on with season 3. And if there's anyone you want us to ask, please drop us an email, let us know, and we go from there. But
exactly.
Thanks for this, Tel, and it's been lovely to do this with you this season.
It's been bloody fantastic, mate, and thank you for everyone for joining in and listening.
Absolutely.
You lovely couple of people. It's been great.
Yeah, all 2 of you. Thanks for watching.
Right, adios. See you next season.
Bye, pal.
Welcome to another episode of The Dirty Negative.